So, one of the hardest parts of burnout is that it's often difficult to decipher where the stress is coming from, especially when you're in the middle of the mess and you're just surviving in fight or flight mode. It can really feel like everything is overwhelming. But without clarity on the root cause, it's nearly impossible to fix. And that's exactly why I created the 5 Cs Driving Burnout. This is to help break burnout down into its core drivers so that you can identify, like, simply what's fueling your exhaustion and make changes that actually work. So it helps to simplify this identification process when we are in fight or flight. Now, any one of these 5 Cs can cause burnout if persistent and chronic, but another thing to think about is that they can also interact and overlap. And I'm sure you can kind of think of ways that they kind of feed off of one another and create kind of that web or system where burnout just thrives. So at the top of this image, you got convictions. These are your internal beliefs about work and worth. This is where burnout gets personal. Convictions are the stories that we've absorbed about work, success, and self-worth. So maybe you believe that you have to be productive to be valuable, or you feel that you must earn rest by working hard. The thing here is that burnout thrives when we internalize pressure to prove ourselves at all times. Next on this image, we look at capacity. This is your mental, emotional, and physical bandwidth. It's about how much you have to give. Think of it as your personal energy reserves. If you're exhausted, if you're running on fumes and you have no time to restore yourself, even small stressors will feel massive. Then you have your choices. These are the micro decisions that shape your reality day to day, the choices that you make within the systems you're operating in. So we've kind of talked about some of these before, but do you say yes to things that you just don't have the capacity for? Do you find yourself overcommitting regularly? Do you sacrifice your own needs out of obligation to others? Choices matter because they reinforce patterns, either toward burnout or toward balance. Now we're going to look at external factors, such as conditions. So this is about the external setup of your work. So think like your workload, maybe your expectations that are had of you, of your leadership, deadlines, just the sheer volume of responsibilities that you carry. I like to think of this as the logistical side of burnout. Just think about, is your workload humanly possible, right? Do the conditions allow for you to even be successful in the first place? And then lastly, we need to explore the environment and the expectations that you work within, also known as the culture. And culture isn't just a company or organization's values. It's the unspoken rules about how work gets done. So the things that you kind of see under the surface that maybe aren't written in a handbook somewhere. Like maybe you're rewarded for being the last one online or in the office, or busyness is seen as successful, or it's rewarded in tangible ways for those that are most busy in your workplace. This is also where things like toxic positivity or guilt around taking time off or fear of disappointing others can come into play. I am a recovering people pleaser, so I can certainly relate to a lot of these. And personally, culture and convictions, I should say, for me, have been very huge burnout drivers. So now that you understand the 5 Cs, so we've done a quick overview here, I want to figure out which ones are fueling your burnout. So we're going to walk through a quick diagnostic. This is by no means a full depth diagnostic, but something quick so that you can hopefully pinpoint some of the biggest drivers of your burnout